Hi, I'm Brian Sietsma and this is the IBM Spectrum Protect Plus video series. This video is focused on Oracle. In this video, I will show you how to protect and recover Oracle databases using IBM Spectrum Protect Plus. Now you might be asking, why would I use Spectrum Protect Plus to back up and restore my Oracle databases? So we put together a list of 10 reasons. First of all, Spectrum Protect Plus performs agentless, application-consistent backups and restores. This way, if your Oracle database were to crash, you will be able to bring up a restored copy of that database in an application-consistent manner. In addition, SPP supports Linux operating systems, IBM's Power Architecture technology, as well as multiple channel support. SPP also allows for job-level pre- and post-scripting, granular permission configurations with role-based access control, as well as integration with RMAN. SPP has support for Oracle RAC configurations, as well as ASM and LVM-based deployments. In addition, in conjunction with SLA policies and schedules, SPP allows for instant database refreshes and resets, as well as instant restores, and finally, all of this can be done while using IBM Spectrum Protect Plus self-service portal. Setting up your virtual or physical Oracle servers for backup and restore is actually very simple. The first step is registering your Oracle servers within Spectrum Protect Plus. But before you can successfully register these servers, there are certain requirements that need to be met. First of all, Oracle database must be running in mounted or open state and must have archive log mode enabled. It is also very important to ensure that the Oracle server is resolvable by the IBM SPP appliance. Another requirement is that Python version 2.6 or 2.7 must be installed. And finally, SSH service must be running on port 22 and SFTP must also be enabled. In addition to these requirements, the Oracle user agent must have the following privileges. The user agent must belong to the Oracle inventory group and must have specific pseudo privileges in order to discover storage layouts, mount and unmount disks, and manage databases. After ensuring the requirements are met, you are ready to register your individual Oracle servers in Spectrum Protect Plus. In order to do this, you will expand the Manage Protection tab over on the left-hand side, select Applications, Oracle, and then Backup. Now, click Manage Application Servers. You'll see the Add Application Server button on the right-hand side. We'll click that. Now, Spectrum Protect Plus supports both standalone and RAC configurations, but when using RAC configurations, be sure to register each individual node using its IP address, short name, or fully qualified domain name. You will enter that here. Then simply provide a username and password for that Oracle server, or select an existing user from a dropdown. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and click Save. After a successful registration, the new Oracle server will appear in the Registered Servers section down below here. After registering your server, you may want to run a troubleshoot or a test on that registered server. To do that, we'll click back to Manage Application Servers. We'll see our new Oracle server appear here, and in this Actions dropdown, we'll go ahead and we'll click Test. This test verifies communication with the server, tests DNS settings between the IBM Spectrum Protect Plus appliance and the server, and installs the necessary agent on the server itself. Now, immediately after registering an Oracle server, this server is automatically cataloged by way of a new job called a Default Application Server Inventory. This inventory will discover all databases on each server and cluster and runs automatically each morning. And that's why we will see both of our Oracle databases appearing here. Now that you've registered your Oracle server and inventory job has discovered the databases on that server, you're ready to start a backup job. To do this, on the menu to the left-hand side, click Manage Protection, Applications, Oracle, and Backup. From here, you can select the Oracle instance or the individual database that you want to back up. In order to select the individual database, simply click on the instance and a list of the databases will appear. So let's add this ProDB database to our SLA policy. In order to do that, check the box next to the database and select SLA policy. We will then select the Oracle backup policy and click Save. And you'll see that this gets added to the Oracle backup SLA policy. Now, this will run based on that SLA policy on a schedule that is defined by the SLA policy. So this Oracle backup SLA policy is set to run on a daily basis. So this will run once a day. In order to kick this off manually, however, you will simply scroll down to the bottom of the page, find the Oracle backup SLA policy, and then in the Actions dropdown, click Start. Now again, based on the SLA policy, you will have the ability to protect this database to the local vSnap or to replicate to another site. For this specific backup, we will back up to vSnap and we will click OK. After allowing the Oracle backup SLA policy to run to completion, you'll notice that we have successfully protected that Oracle database. And now that we have a backup, we can go ahead and we can run a restore. To do that, go over to the Oracle Restore screen over on the left-hand side. And here we can select the Oracle instance and then the specific database that we want to restore. I can even select from a list of restore points which one I want to use. If I want to go back to an earlier point in time, an earlier time from today, I can use my first backup of this database, or I can use the most recent one, or I can simply just click this blue arrow here next to the database to use the most recent copy. This will add the database over here on the right-hand side to the restore list. Once you've selected your desired recovery point, you can set specific options for your restore job by clicking the Options button. This is where you can choose the restore type. There are two main restore types, test or production. A test restore restores the database in no archive log mode, and the restore job will sit in a resource active state until you choose to clean up. A production restore, however, restores the database into production. There is no resource active state, and the NFS share is unmounted upon creation. A third restore type, called instant access, allows the user to manually browse the contents of the NFS share and use custom RMAN commands. Like a test restore, this will sit in a resource active state until the user chooses to clean up. This is also where we can define if we want to restore to the original instance, restore to an alternate instance, and provide a new name for that restored database. Once you've selected your restore type, and in this case we'll just choose test and we'll give this a new name, new DB, you can proceed to the other advanced restore options, or you can add pre and post level scripts. Here, for example, you can choose to overwrite the existing database, you can set initialization parameters, and a few other options as well. But we can go down here, we can click Save. And now, now that we've selected those advanced options, we can go ahead and we can click Restore. We want to run this restore job, and this will begin. Now, shortly after running that job, you'll see that it is now sitting in a resource active state. We also see this other job. I was running some testing earlier today, so that's why I have a failed restore here. But this is the restore that we just ran, and you're seeing down here now that that new database is active. It is a test database, so it sits in a resource active state. And this allows anybody who's running testing on that server, for example, to complete the tasks that they need to do, the reasons why they restored that database in the first place. Once they're done with their testing, the next step is to go ahead and clean up that database. To do that, simply from the Actions drop down here, we'll click Cancel Restore. This will shut down and remove the test database. It will unmount the cloned volumes from the Oracle server and delete the cloned volume on the vSnap. After this cleanup completes successfully, the restored job's status will change from resource active to idle. Now there's one last piece of a restore that I want to quick mention here, and that's how to set up a restore job on a schedule. What we just went over was more of an on-demand, one-time database restore, but say I wanted to have this on a recurring schedule. So I can add the database again to the restore list by clicking the blue arrow, and I'm going to go ahead and click this Manage Jobs button. I'll go ahead and create a new job, give this a name, New Job, and then specify how often we want this job to run. So if I wanted this to run once a week, I can say let's run this once every 7 days, specify a start time and a start date, and click Save. And now after you click save, you're going to see that new restore job appear here. And now that database will be protected based on that schedule, so every 7 days, and again based on the options that you specify for the restore job. But that database will be protected automatically every 7 days. And there you have it. So that's how you go ahead and you create Oracle backup and restores using IBM Spectrum Protect Plus.